Right this way to the Silver Screens boot show.
Is that you that just walked up beside me? Don't be scared. Come in here with us.
I felt like I got touched by something before we started the investigation.
The Plaza Theater is located in the Druid Hills neighborhood of Atlanta.
Right this way to the Silver Screens.
The theater and its unique history came to the attention of WGPI investigator Beth Dolger. I was intrigued. Sounded like it would be fun, so Beth set up a location survey.
The historic Plaza Theater was built in 1939, and since that time, it's been both a cinema and a live theater. It was the centerpiece of the first shopping center in Atlanta, and it's the oldest continuously operating theater in the city. Since that time, it hasn't changed very much, but it has seen its share of human drama. There's been a lot of changes to the neighborhood that it's in, and certainly a lot of drama within the walls of the Plaza Theater itself.
Oh, wow, Martha, look out!
We're here today with Shane Morton, better known as Professor Morte, the host of the Silver Scream Spook Show at the Plaza Theater. He's going to share with us a little bit about the paranormal activity that's been happening here. How are you today, Professor Morte?
It's great to be here, but I'm going to drop the rigmarole, and talk about the great Plaza Theater, which was built in 1939 and opened in 1939, and it's one of Atlanta's oldest theaters. It's the oldest continuously running theater in Atlanta, and it has a very seedy old history, and a lot of weird stuff has gone on here that we don't even know about, because it's hard to find research on stuff, to do research on stuff like this. When Johnny first got a hold of the theater, he found a bunch of stuff in the back, like old newspaper clippings and whatnot, and we found out that Tura Satana had danced here as a burlesque artist in the 50s, and then we started digging deep and we found out the place was a porno theater in the 70s. And then we started digging a little deeper, and we started to hear all these like stories about the plaza, especially during the seedy days of the 70s, where there were probably some murders in here.
Tonight we're going to be at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta on Ponce de Leon. It's built in 1939. It's the oldest continually operated theater in Atlanta. Some of the reports of activity is the projectionist thought he heard someone being murdered right outside his door, and when he looked, there was nobody there. And then the dressing rooms behind the stage, people report feel like there's someone in the room with them, or they're being watched. Let's go burn some ghosts.
So all kinds of weird stuff has happened in this room, I'm sure, especially over the years since 1939.
Sure.
But, you know, the room everybody wants to get into is the backstage room where, you know, all through the years, burlesque girls have gotten changed and stuff, and everybody wants to see what happens backstage. So
Well, let's go.
let's go take a look. All right, it's a little tight in here, but this is the way to the dressing room. Okay, so here we are backstage. You got to think back here, you know, actors have been getting prepared and putting on their makeup and their crazy costumes. I mean, there's all kinds of creepy stuff back here. You never know what you'll find. But yeah, 1939, lots of weird stuff back here going on. I'm sure, you know, jilted guys waiting by the back door for their girlfriends that are turning into burlesque artists.
And what kind of personal experience have you had in here?
Anytime I have to go back to that makeup room and there's nobody else in there but me, there are eyes on me in there. there, and it gets really creepy when I'm the only guy here and I have to go through the dark back there, because there is a real presence back in that dressing room. The geometry's kind of weird in there, you know. It's a little strange, that little walkway, so it's kind of Caligari-esque as you're coming through.
Right.
So maybe that sets it off a little bit. I don't know.
Great. Where to next?
Well, this place is pretty extensive. Let's walk down here and see if there's anything. All right, so here we are outside of the dreaded manager's office, where apparently the worst sounds ever have been heard outside of this door. You know, and then they look out here and there was nothing there.
What kind of sounds were it?
Like the sound of somebody being murdered. This is apparently how the story goes. That the projectionist was working here, locked himself in there, and he was hearing this horrible scuffle and called the police, and the police got here, and there was no signs of anything. But he heard something really horrible happening out here. There was nothing there.
We'll definitely have to check it out then.
Yeah. You guys want to go to the upstairs theater?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Okay, so here we are in the upstairs projection booth, which is apparently the creepiest place in the building. You know, the most weird stuff has been happening up here as far as people seeing human figures out of the corners of their eyes, things that aren't there, that might have been there, or bad feelings.
Is there more than one person seeing this?
Yes, this is the room.
Okay.
This whole upper balcony area, actually. This is where most of the stuff happens up here.
Okay. Great. I think we're ready to start investigating. Let's go.
Great.
Let's just sit down over here. So we're in the dressing room where people have reported feelings of being watched and not being alone. Is that correct, Shane? Okay.
Uneasiness.
Can you please show yourself?
Yeah, if you were a performer, what do you think about these performances that are going on here now?
And Shane here is a performer too, so, you know, if you wanted to talk to somebody else who's used to being on the stage, now would be a great time to come and do it.
Come and light up that green light over there.
Yep.
You can do anything. Move something or show us your sign.
But in the meantime,
I figured a lot of that too is like people changing. When you're changing your clothes, you're always feeling like somebody's watching you.
it's true.
You know.
Let's try that. Now flash. Now flash. Now flash.
Some of us had some personal experiences. I myself had a personal experience in front of the theater manager's door before we even started the investigation. And about where you were standing, I looked up these steps, and I saw this door.
The office manager door.
The office manager door. At the time, I didn't know this.
Right.
I was thinking, wonder where this goes.
Right.
Who goes to? And I was contemplating on opening up the door, and then at that point, I heard what sounded like two movie reels or either like two metal chairs clanging together. Behind this door, I was standing like this. I actually had my hand out like this. And I heard the clang, and it was coming from right in front of me. And then to find out that this is where the scuffle took place.
Oh, you did all this before you found out?
Right. I thought the scuffle took place in front of the projector room.
Okay, yeah, that's where everybody's
Right.
initial...
Right. And then once
Interesting.
I went down and had told Myron before. He goes, nobody else knows.
Right.
Told Myron, and he got Shane, had me tell Shane. That's when Shane told me this is where the scuffle took place.
Ah.
And this is where the scuffle took place.
Ah.
And
Wow.
this was the balcony.
You like movies, don't you? K2 just went off.
Still going on.
Was that you?
Can you make a noise for us? Can you knock on something like this? Keeps flickering.
Yeah. Are you feeling anything out of the ordinary?
I kind of feel like I'm being watched.
From where?
I can't pinpoint it. Come from over here.
That's what I was just going to say.
From over here.
From right over in here.
Yeah. I'm taking a full spectrum shot.
Wow, that went off and I'm standing right next to it. .1. But it's a solid .1.
It's trying to get pretty steady. Did you see that?
Yeah, 76, 74, 75.
No, you want to hold the K2 meter again? There you go. If you want to come over here, point it in this direction toward the hallway. Ask some of those same questions you've been asking, buddy.
When we first came in here, in this part of the dressing room earlier, I had one ear, my head set off, and it sounded like it was a tiny insect talking in my ear. You know, it was like a cartoon bug talking in my ear. I couldn't tell what it said. You know, I couldn't understand what it said, but it said a voice with inflection, you know.
This was Shane's first vigil ever, and I'm really glad we were able to get some evidence for him. We caught an EVP that's sort of an odd buzzing sound, which correlates with a report from one of our cameramen who actually heard a buzzing noise in his headphones while we were conducting the vigil.
Tickling back this way, the light cameras on this side. Flash.
What was that?
Flash.
Did you hear that?
Sounded like somebody yelling.
Yeah.
You got your radio?
No, it went almost dead, so it's on charge.
Because Jeff and I couldn't determine the source of the sound, I can't say that it's paranormal. We'll just have to leave that one a mystery. You ever heard somebody say that they've never had any paranormal activity in their house, and then they go antique shopping not thinking anything about it? And then all of a sudden they start having paranormal activity. Are you here alone? Yes, okay. Are you male? No. Are you female? Gotta be one or the other. Are you in between? Are you a transvestite?
Wow.
Okay, that's unusual. Were you here in the 1980s? Yes. Were you here in the 1990s? No. Okay. This theater was built in 1939. I'm sure something might have been here in the 1880s, but... Oh, okay. Was it 1880? Or 1980? 1880. You sure? I didn't think they had transvestites in the 1880s.
Wow.
Learn something new every day.
Flickered yes when you said I didn't think that they had that, and it flickered yes. Doing it again.
Are you lonely here? You are, huh? There's nobody to play with? No.
Nobody to trick?
Jeffro, are you looking in that doorway over there?
I am.
Do you see movement?
Whatever it is, if it's moving, it's not making a sound. It's over there on the concrete.
Wow.
I heard that. Hit it with a light?
No, but every hair on the back of my neck just stood up. Over here to communicate with us. Where you at over here?
I've got a... Wow, I had a 0.3, 0.4.
Well, we're going to move on. I appreciate you talking with us. Jeff and I thought we saw some movement over in the corner there one time, and we got some slight responses on the K2. Nothing strong, just a couple of lights, one or two lights would flicker. At one point I asked, what year did you die? And I went through the decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and when I hit 80s, it lit up. I said, oh, so you died during the 80s. So I started rattling off 81, 82, 83, got all the way up to 89, and it never lit up again. I was like, well, wait a minute, you just said you died in the 80s. So I said, did you mean the 1880s? And it lit up.
Command Central.
Okay.
No, it's not.
42.
When it comes back up, the flash should be on.
Can you kind of keep an eye on the curtain to the left of the screen?
I felt like I got touched by something before we started the investigation. So Nancy's going to try and see if she can have any luck with getting whatever's communicating with us to touch her.
Are you lonely?
You want the ladies to take off their clothes?
You want the men to take off theirs?
Do you like seeing all the children that still come here today?
Come on over. You don't have to stay in the corner.
Is Noah still there? Noah, are you awake? Noah. Shane.
Nope, he's gone.
Oh, he's out. His hand's still around.
Doing a good job, though. Really good job.
If it was...
Somebody take a picture of
The
that.
boom is still up.
That's hilarious. Oh, what's going on?
Ooh, K2's going wild. That curtain just keeps on looking like it's moving over there.
Flash, are you moving the curtain? Another thing that really caught our attention was this flash of light to the left of the stage. Earlier in the night, Rhonda and I both saw the curtains in that area move, and Kevin and Jeff both reported catching movement out of the corner of their eye in that very same area. Like most paranormal investigators, Myron doesn't put a lot of stock into orbs, but we were curious about this shot that our DVR camera caught just before Jeff and Kevin came into the balcony area. On further review, we also noticed a light anomaly that peeks into and out of the right side of the camera, almost like somebody leaning in to check out what's going on. You'll see the anomaly just before you see the flashlights from Kevin and Jeff. Could this be the ghost of the man killed on the landing, or the spirit of a patron who really loves movies?
EVP session in upstairs projection room. Present is Myron.
Nancy.
And Shane.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
You can come up and touch me, shake my hand, hit me. Come up and say hello. Let me know that you're here. It's okay. I'm not going to get mad at you.
Touching's okay. You might not want to be asked to be hit. Be careful what you wish for.
Do you like the people that work at the plaza? Do you like the people that come to the theater now?
I think we're going to have to wrap it up and go on. We've got a lot of stuff to do. EVP session end. Oh, Lord. Shane, I'd like to thank you for letting us come out. We've enjoyed this history in this old theater, and want to say that you're welcome to come with us on any future investigation you like. We always enjoy having special guest investigators. That's how Beth got started with us.
All right, well, great.
I know it's late. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. We've been here all night, so we got to go and let him get home and get his rest because Professor Morte has
I've
planned.
got to get into my coffin.
Well, it's time for me to head down to the Plaza Theater to meet Shane and present the evidence. And it's my first evidence review, so I'm ready to get this out of the way. Let's go. All right, so Shane, of course, some of the evidence that we got was personal experiences. Like Nancy and I both got touched by something in the balcony upstairs. And then, of course, we had that really good session with the K2 meter that Jeff and Kevin did, where the meter was responding to questions that they asked. We also caught 3 EVPs. Some of them would be hard to hear without headphones, but I'll let you take a listen. This first one, you're going to hear somebody ask a question, and there's going to be a long pause, and then you'll hear very quietly what sounds like a male voice saying yes.
Are you tired? Are we interrupting you right now?
It's almost like a whisper. I don't know if you could hear that. You want to listen to it again?
Yeah, it sounded like something there at the very end.
Like a whisper. You want to try it with the headphones and see if you can hear better? And it's almost like just a whisper. Yeah. And then the second one, this is when you, me, and Noah were back in the dressing room. And if you remember, one of the cameramen said he heard like a buzzing in his headphones. And it seems like we caught that buzzing on our tape recorder as well, because you'll hear me say flash because I'm taking a picture, and then you'll hear very loudly this just sort of a loud buzzing sound. And it almost sounds like there's a voice underneath it, but either way, it's definitely a strange anomaly.
I know a flash. A flash.
Weird.
Yeah, and it seems to correlate with...
It didn't sound like a buzzing. It sounded like
almost like a goat. A baby goat.
Great. The Plaza Theater is haunted by a baby goat.
Baby goat. That would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool, kind of strange. And then this third EVP that we caught is when Kevin and Jeff were outside the manager's office in the stairwell, where somebody once heard a person being attacked and dying.
This is where the scuffle took place. And this is where the scuffle took place. And
yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a male voice.
It was quick too.
Yeah, it's quick and it's difficult to understand, but it's definitely a male voice that is not Kevin or Jeff. And
sounded
they're the
like
only
somebody
two
that was
up there.
guilty of something. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Not here.
I didn't do that.
Maybe you could be right. So those are the EVPs that we caught, and then we also.
That was cool. That last one was good.
Yeah, that last one was really good, and I'll see if we can pull up what we got for you on the cameras. So we also caught a couple of interesting things on the DVR camera that we had positioned upstairs in the balcony. It was the one that was pointing out of the projection room into the theater itself. And this first thing is just a brief flash of light that we got to the left side of the screen. And that was in an area where Kevin and Jeff both reported seeing things out the corner of their eye but when they turn to look, there's nothing there. And you'll see it just really briefly in the center of the screen.
Is this the actual edge of the screen here?
It is. And this is the, there's a black curtain over here, and that's where the emergency exit is there. And typically, if it was a piece of dust or something floating by, it wouldn't just appear and disappear like that.
Yeah,
Plus
you'd see it travel like you're seeing
right.
the other ones travel.
Right. So then this other video clip we got, initially it came to our attention because just before Kevin and Jeff come inside to do their vigil inside the balcony, you see all these orbs pop up on the screen going every direction possible. It's hard to say what that is. It could be dust that got stirred up somehow, but it's curious because usually if dust gets stirred up, it all moves in the same direction, not every different direction possible. But as we were watching it a second time, we noticed that there's something over here on the right side of the screen, and it's a light anomaly that kind of leans in to look into the camera range and then leans out just before Jeff and Kevin come in the door.
Well, I mean, I remember some of that camera stuff going down. You know, sure, the flashlight comes across the screen like right after that movement, but that doesn't look like the light from the flashlight at all. It's really strange. It looks like somebody kind of leaning in, kind of. It's really weird. But yeah, the whole thing that night. What you can't capture on film, of course, was the feeling that we had upstairs when we were talking, and then it was over. It was like after that twilight time had ended, or whatever they call it, you know, that magic time around 3:30, 4 o'clock, when everything just stops. It was palpable. It was. And it wasn't just us freaking each other out anyway, because everybody kind of felt it, you know, without saying anything. And then they were like, I think it was you, maybe. It was like, oh, it's over. Yeah. You know, and I was like, oh, that's what that feeling is.
We'd like to thank everyone at the Plaza Theater for allowing us to come here and investigate. I know everyone at WGPI had a great time. We got some good evidence, had some personal experiences. We got to meet the charming Professor Morte, and we even got to take in a silver screen spook show. We hope to be back in the future, and we hope that you'll be back for another episode of Ghost Burn. In the meantime, let's go burn some ghosts.